Grandmaster Praggnanandhaa starts his second day at the Superbet Rapid 2025 with black pieces. He's taking on the very strong Alireza Firouzja. I remember the time when both of them played in the 2017 World Youth Olympiad. They were such young kids. I think Prag was around 11, Alireza was perhaps 12 or 13 years old, and then they faced off against each other. Was beautiful to witness them, and now playing at the Grand Chess Tour, there you see Alireza coming in, dubbed by Magnus Carlsen as one of the biggest talents in the world of chess. Alireza, seeing him in action is always great fun. What makes the battle between Prag and Alireza always very interesting is their uncompromising attitude towards chess. They want to fight always, never ever agree to short draws. And there we go, a handshake. Alireza with white opens with knight to f3. 25 minutes plus 10 seconds increment. d5 played here by Prag, and Ali plays b3. He wants to put his bishop on b2. Pawn comes up to c5, capturing the center, and now e3, opening up the bishop here to come to b5. Knight comes out to f6, and Alireza plays his bishop to b2. Pawn to g6, the bishop will be well placed on g7, c4. He takes the pawn on c4. Pawn takes back, and now bishop g7. White plays his bishop to e2, and black simply castles it out here. White also castles in this position, and b6. What black wants to do is put the bishop on b7 here. d3 played, and white's biggest advantage here in this position is his center control. Queen to c2, you can see Alireza making these little moves. The knight coming out to c6, maybe with some ideas on knight b4. Ooh, he goes knight e5. I don't know if you want to trade actually as white the pieces, but Alireza anyway goes in and exchanges. Knight takes knight. Queen takes on c6, threatening a mate on g2. Bishop f3 played, and you can see the times on the clock. Both players have roughly 22 minutes here. Queen comes back to c7, and now knight to d2. Prag brings his rook into the center of the board, attacking the d3 pawn. Alireza chops off the bishop on b7. And knight g4. Whoa, Prag is threatening mate in one here. Knight comes out to f3. And now bishop takes b2. Very interesting how Prag is kind of simplifying the position. I don't know if it's to his advantage or not, but for now he is attacking the d3 pawn. Rook f d1, defending the d3 pawn here. And black goes rook d6 with the idea of rook d8, pressurizing d3. a4. Wow. So now a5, creating some kind of weaknesses in black's camp is the idea. But first rook a3, defending here. And you can see how Prag is even ready to take a backward pawn on b6 in order to stop white's a5. Rook b3. Now Alireza putting pressure on b6. The knight comes back to f6. 18 minutes for Alireza, 12 minutes for Praggnanandhaa. It seems like the position is around even, but maybe it's difficult for both sides to play. By the way, a4 pawn is hanging. Knight comes out to e5, attacking the queen here. I think queen takes a4 will be met with rook a1, and then queen has to go back with rook b6. White is better. So queen c7 was played here, and now Alireza triples down on the b6 pawn. Now knight d7 makes a lot of sense, because once you take, rook takes, the d3 pawn will also be weak. Let's see where Firouzja is headed, because now the b6 pawn is defended. It goes knight g4. He's threatening a check and a mate on this diagonal. Knight comes out to f6. Knight e5. Maybe the players are ready to shake hands, but what did we speak about them at the start of this video? Uncompromising, fighting players, and that's exactly what he's doing. Alireza is like, no draw, I want to fight on. Rook c6 played here by Pragg. And now rook to b5. Somehow it feels like white has made more progress than black in this position. But you can see Pragg very calmly defending. He's a very good defender. He attacks the d3 pawn. Queen comes up to c3. And now queen goes back to c7. So Pragg is like steady here. He knows that his position does not give him too much to play with. So he's being very solid. Knight to b8 played here. Oh, wow. What a maneuver coming in. Knight a6 to b4. Queen e5. Offering a trade of queens. And rook d6. Avoiding it. Now queen g3. Threatening knight e5 to trap the rook. Knight d7. The knight unfortunately had to go back from his initial plan of knight a6. Knight d2. Planning knight e4. This is some tremendous knight jumps being played by both the players. Alireza with some aggressive ideas. Pragg with some defensive ones. Now knight d7 seems possible. But it feels like Pragg is not very comfortable here. By the way, look at the time on both players' clock. 28 seconds for Pragg. 48 for Alireza. He goes back knight. Here, this is still not hanging. It's well defended by the rook and the queen. Queen f4 played. Maybe g4, g5 is on the horizon. Queen c7. And he's going for it. He's got his hand near the g-pawn. Just making sure if it's a good move. Yes, plays it. g4 on the board. Now rook f8 is kind of forced. But Pragg has to find that move in 30 seconds. Not at all easy. But he finds it, of course, in 4 seconds actually. Rook f8 played. d4. Pushing the pawn forward. Firouzja. What a guy. Pawn takes pawn. Pawn takes pawn. And now knight to d7 offering a trade. Another great defensive move by Pragg. If takes, I take with the queen. If you take on b6, I can take on d4. He takes on d7. Queen takes. Kind of forced. Yes, he takes with the queen. Pawn to d5. Now b6 is weak. Rook c8 makes a lot of sense. He goes e6. That's a mistake because of rook takes b6. It's a very strong move. Suddenly white has a big advantage. Alireza's hard work of putting pressure on Pragg seems to have borne fruit here. Rook takes rook. Oh, the rook almost fell down. Rook takes b6. And now when he takes e d5, push the pawn to c5. Push it forward. This is great position. Alireza thinking there. But why did he take on d5? And now queen d5, it's all equal. It's equalized. Queen c6, maybe just putting the queen here. Who goes queen a8, which makes even more sense defending the a5 pawn. h4, Alireza still having that small edge of better placed pieces, wants to attack with h5, h6. Praggnanandhaa adjusting himself in the chair, goes rook e8, the best move, king h2. Rook e1 cannot be played because of rook b8, you lose the queen. Queen e4 played, offering a trade of queens. King g3, and now if you take the queens, it should be a drawn endgame. But queen h1, Pragg wants to win. Oh man, the insatiable hunger to win every single time they play chess. Queen g1 check, king h3. No more checks, I believe. Check on f1. Okay, you can play queen g2, but he goes king g3, check. Goes here, draw. Okay guys, accept a draw now. King g3, now it's enough. Enough of fight. No, Pragg is like, I want to beat you, Firouzja. I'm coming rook d3, rook b3 back. He goes check. A couple of checks there always gains 10 seconds on the clock. Can he come in here with rook d1? Oh, he comes rook d4. What a blunder. Rook b7 is winning now. Threatening a mate on f7. You can see Firouzja stopping there in his tracks. Finds it. What a move. Now suddenly if you go queen f1, king h2, no more checks. No more checks here. He goes check, king h2. Pragg has no checks in the position. He's blundered, queen c4 and now queen f6. This is over. He finds it. Rook b8 mate is coming in. There's no way to prevent it. If you go queen c8, suddenly f7 is falling. You can see Pragg's expressions there. He knows that he has lost it. Look at Alireza Firouzja there. He knows he's won it. The time is down. Praggnanandhaa can't believe that he's lost the game, but that is what it is when two ambitious players fight till the bitter end. They didn't want a draw, they wanted to fight, and look at that. What happened in the end was painful for Prag, but hats off to both these champions. What a game this was! Amazing. Literally goosebumps at this moment. Prag places back his pieces, not so happy with how things panned out, but it's Ali Reza's victory for this one.